Our first guest tonight is a four-time Emmy Award and Golden Globe winning actor you know from The Big Bang Theory. He stars in the film adaptation of The Boys in the Band, which is streaming on Netflix now. Let's take a look.
Hey, what made you stop? The analyst?
Oh, he certainly had a lot to do with it. Mainly, I just didn't think I could get through another morning after ick attack.
Morning after what?
Icks, anxiety, guilt, unfathomable guilt. And the split second your eyes pop open and you say, oh my God, what'd I do last night?
Tell me about it.
And then that struggle to survive till lunch, where you have a double Bloody Mary. That is, if you've waited till lunch. And then you're half pissed again and useless for the rest of the afternoon. So you hang on till cocktail time, and by then you're ready for whatever the night holds, which hopefully is another party.
Please welcome back to the show our friend Jim Parsons. How are you, Jim?
Hello, Seth. I'm great. How are you?
A lot has happened since we last saw each other, and we were supposed to see each other remotely in August, but you had a storm knocked out, not just yours, but a lot of people's Wi-Fi. So it's great to finally make it work.
It is so nice. And to have power restored. What a wonderful world.
Yes, I would imagine missing out on my show was sort of one of the lower things as far as having no power at all.
Well, I mean, I'm fascinated by this 8:30 live show that hasn't happened yet. I mean, you could have to take this entire episode off the air depending on what happens. I mean,
that's true. I mean,
30 days
so
of
just
Dr.
know this is very, what we're doing right now, we're holding on by a thread. This might never see television.
Yes. When can you get plexiglass so that you can have guests back?
Well, we're going to have, so Amber Ruffin, who's a writer on our show, is going to be a guest right after you because she's already in the building and she gets tested like I get tested, but she's going to sit on the far end of the couch. So it will look.
That'll be fun.
It'll look if people. I think if people see a still, it will look very passive aggressive.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Yes.
So, Jim, you actually you had COVID all the way back in March, hopefully fully recovered. How was the experience?
It was frightening. I mean, here's what I say. I feel like we probably must have had a mildish case. You know, we had the fever and the chest pressure and things like that. But I would say at least 50% of my quote unquote pain was just the anxiety and the fear. Partly, well, I would still feel that way now, to be honest, but it was in March and here in New York, it was not pretty. I went to bed every night wondering, I hope we don't have to make an emergency call. You know what's crazy? I shaved every single day that I was sick. And partly it was because I felt better when I was clean shaven. And partly it was because, this is so morbid, I thought if I have to get rushed to the hospital, I want to look like I'm trying. I want to enthuse people to come to me and help me, please.
Right. You think if they'd be okay, like basically, if they saw a little peach fuzz, they'd be like, he's already given up.
He quit. He's thrown in the towel. You know, that's so morbid. I don't mean to make a joke about that, but that was my life, so I think it's free reign for me.
Did you pick up, once you sort of bounced back and made it through these last 6 months, did you pick up any hobbies? Did you use the time?
I painted for a while. I was doing like creative fiction writing and stuff for a while, and I enjoyed all of that. And I've grown tired of all of that. Apparently, I'm just an actor, and I miss that pretty desperately. And I would like to be in a room with people and pretend to be other people and fake kiss and fight and things like that.
Well, hopefully you'll get to do that again soon. I want to ask about both your projects on Netflix right now. The first, Boys in the Band. So this is a very unique experience you got to have, which is this is a Broadway show you did in 2018. And not only are you doing it again on screen, it's with the exact same group of people. What was that transition like?
It was really nice, but it was really intense in a wonderful way. I'd never done anything like that. And it's funny doing press for it, and it's just been released and everything. So we keep talking about it like we're doing now. And it kind of is occurring to me in layers, like that was a really kind of profound experience to spend so much time with those people and these characters. And, you know, there's humor in the piece, but it's a pretty heavy piece. So it's not exactly light fare to be living with that long. And I don't know, I really enjoyed it. And I feel even more now like that's something that'll probably never happen in my life again. I mean, that's a lot of things that have to come together. So I don't know. I'm glad it happened. It was neat.
You moved here to New York because for those who don't know, the original show took place and it takes place still in the Upper East Side of New York in 1968. You moved to New York in 2001, same time I moved to New York. I think it was a really fascinating time to live in New York City, considering what happened that year. Do you have what were your memories of that time like?
Oh, I thought it was so much fun. I mean, I've always loved New York. I can be a very anxious person in general. And even when I visited before I moved, I knew immediately there was something about the effort it takes to get through New York that for me makes me happier. It makes me more relaxed, just the fight to get through a day. I don't know. It was lots of cabs and lots of late drinking, but you didn't have to drive yourself home. And I look back and the weirdest thing to me, this sounds so stupid to remember, but like the way I would just fall asleep at somebody else's place, that would not happen anymore. But back then it was like, that's fine. That makes me feel dirty just to say out loud now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was, because it was before not just COVID, but I feel like then in the late 2000s, there was a whole bed bugs issue.
That's right.
There were like 2 or 3 news stories about bed bugs on local New York news that are still the most terrifying thing I've ever seen. Like when they zoomed in tight on what a bed bug looked like.
Yes.
I really
You
thought.
don't want that.
Yeah, it was not a good scene at all. You also, Other Coast, you're in Ryan Murphy's Hollywood.
Yes.
And you're actually playing, because there are a lot of fictional characters in this show, but Harry Wilson was a real person. Did you know much about him?
No, I didn't know anything, which was kind of cool because he was pretty villainous and lecherous in some ways. Not every way, we exaggerated to a certain degree, but he has some stories. And I feel like especially in this day and age, I don't know, I think I would have come in with a lot more judgment about him. And instead it was just, I kind of discovered as we went. And there was this amazing biography about him called The Man Who Invented Rock Hudson. And I don't know, it really placed his whole life and from being young and dying destitute. And it was a great time. It really was.
You were nominated for an Emmy, and of course, you've been to The Real Thing before. How was your experience as a virtual nominee?
In a weird way, like any other Zoom meeting, except that I put on a tux. It was so bizarre. You've hosted, but I mean, to get that gussied up and you're getting ready and you're looking in the mirror. And then this time though, you don't walk to a car, you don't go anywhere. You just go to your living room and then you kind of eat and drink and kind of wander around when you're not on. And then the category happens and they announce a winner and you listen to the speech and you literally, it was like, and leave meeting. And then we were done with the Emmys.
That sounds like the dream.
Well, it kind of is. It kind of is. Once the category was over, you always just want to go. Oh, well, some people like to party more than I do. But anyway, yes. I frequently just like, oh, can we just be home now? And we were magic.
Well, that's wonderful. Congratulations on both shows. And thank you so much. It's always so great to see you, Jim.
It's so good to see you too, Seth. Good job.
Thank you very much.